Namaste. Hey, welcome to the Learn Street Qigong channel. Haven't done any updates lately. Today I'm going to talk about, I said I was going to do this, but no, I'm going to jump into Western magic just a bit. I definitely know more about Eastern stuff via experience. Yeah, I just had one listener. I lost him. Here's the strangest point that you might bring up, and it almost sounds kind of comic bookish, but esoteric Taoism, for those of you who know, Taoism is a shamanic religion. The Tao, the way. Their main character is La Sue. Ursula Andrews, the science fiction writer, is one of the few people in the West that delved into the Tao of any note. Other than lesser known figures who you might pick up at the New Age bookstore or something, maybe. I'd say yoga is, of course, way better known in the quote unquote West, definitely, but Taoism is out there, and there is magic in Taoism, and anybody kind of reading about magic, you'll realize a lot of people deal with sigils, like look at the sigil, meditate on it. Yes, indeed, engage in some kind of sexual activity and focus on the sigil. And that's why they're around. They're even graffitied all around cities, right? By people who delve into it. I don't know if they know what they're talking about when they do that. Maybe those people really do. I don't know. But that's the most common way I've seen them around, graffiti on the streets and things like that, right? So Taoism has Fu sigils that you might meditate in cold water, face north, south, east, and west. Meditate on that and draw the sigil and then maybe burn it or something. Sigil could be interspersed with the words symbol. Again, if you guys know more about magic stuff, write me in the comments. Try not to be rude about it, but just make your comment. Don't be like, you're an idiot, you don't know what to talk about. I'm in the OTO and you don't know anything. And of course, this Learn Qigong channel is mostly going to be Learn Qigong. But today, for the hell of it, because I'd like to just talk at random through the internet, talking about Western magic versus Eastern. And one strange thing, and this is almost comic bookish, right? Comic bookish. But I've noticed in whatever I've come to encounter in Eastern magic, anything I've read about Hinduism, Taoism, they haven't done much in the area of reaching out to extraterrestrials. Like Stephen Greer, right? There's that movie. You meditate, and they come to you, Stephen Greer. UFOs, extraterrestrials. Those type of events are mostly associated with technology or classified stuff and fences and guarded by jeeps, machine guns, and all that stuff, and technology. But Crowley, probably the world's most studied occultist, right? A beast. I hate thinking of him as a bad guy because he's interesting, but I suppose he wasn't. He wasn't the greatest. I don't like the part where he threw a cat out the window and things like that. The beast. And well, enough about the beast. When I get my More Wild channel up, we'll rap together about stuff like that. This is supposed to be about Qigong, I know, but here we go right away. First video, talk about the West. And again, a comic bookish observation that I made, okay? In other words, I don't see a bunch of Buddhists or Taoists or Hindus talking too much about making contact with UFOs. extraterrestrials. And there's debates: are they fallen angels? Are they disincarnate entities? Are they demons? Or is that all the same? Um, one time I heard somebody speculate that, H.P. Lovecraft, the great horror writer, um, that in his horror stories, you were making contact with um, extraterrestrial beings. And I don't know if I like the aesthetic of that. It's like haunted houses, but then alien creatures from outer space that are supposed to be traveling around, and anti-gravity time machines or spacecrafts are infecting people's minds in haunted houses and things like that. But that's been brought up, that it's alien entities, right? Again, today's jabble, today's weird rant is a very minor point. Eastern versus Western occultism. In the East, they don't. I'm not aware that they dabble with contact with UFOs. What a simple, boneheaded point. But I haven't seen anything. But Crowley clearly talked about it, and he said it should be first and foremost that adepts, wise men, occultists, Magnus, Magi, like him, should be making it their prime directive to make contact with entities of a higher order, with UFO people, UFO entities, in order to save the world. Now, was that some cool thing that he used in between trying to find the coolest orgies in London or throughout Europe? I don't know. What is occultism anyway? Is it an excuse to get into orgies? I heard that. I heard somebody said that to me. It's just an excuse. I don't know about that. Communication between human and divine worlds. Okay, so Crowley on making contact with entities and UFOs, etc. Okay. So my observation of the universe convinces me that there are beings of intelligence and power of a far higher quality than anything we can conceive of as human, and that they're not necessarily based on the cerebral and conscious nervous structures that we know, and that the one and only and that they are and that the one and only chance for mankind is advance as a whole is for individuals to make contact with such beings. Again, my handwriting is so sloppy in my notes. My observation of the universe convinces me that there are beings of intelligence and power of a far higher quality than anything we could conceive of as human, that they are not necessarily based on the cerebral and nervous structures that we know, and that the one and only chance for mankind to advance as a whole is for individuals to make contact with such beings. Aleister Crowley, drug addict, a dope fiend, excellent chess player, fairly good poet, as far as I know, expert mountain climber. Yeah, he was hot chess man at a high level as well. And of course, occultist. So Crowley, in his magical journey, made contact with different entities. One was Awas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Uh, Awas is the name of a voice that Aleister Crowley claimed to have heard on the 8th and 10th of April, 1904. This entity dictated to him the Book of the Law, 78, then 93 of Thelema, and then 418. The Gematria of Awas is a alphanumeric code. All right, I shouldn't read that. The notes. By the way, Thelema, that's Crowley's religion, just pretty much means will. So we had a scryer named Rose, and they made contact with the Awas. Oh, she did. Holy Guardian Angel Awas. Here's one thing that's the whole extraterrestrial thing. Okay, one of the entities that Crowley worked with was Lamb, and it's been cited, and this thesis is as unairtight as my other one, that a lamb looks kind of like the Greys, and some people speculate that the Greys wear it's an outfit that people say the Greys, and we've seen in the most famous. You've definitely seen graffiti of Greys. You can tell all my observations are graffiti stickers of Greys, all seeing eyes, and poorly drawn or well drawn magic sigils is all I know. Well, you can find a lot from graffiti when you go into a city, by the way. Lamb looked like a gray. So therefore, these things have been discussed publicly. Now, keep in mind, the drawing of Lamb is like 100 years old. So that's pretty good when you think of it. That's 100 years. So they didn't have decades of fantasy comic books and magazines and whatnot to draw from. Came up with that 100 years ago. So 100 years ago, and then it is said, the author Kenneth Grant said, Crowley ushered in an age of UFO activity. Lamb is number 71. Did Crowley open up an interdimensional portal in 1918? Crowley invoked an entity, Lamb. Lamb is a Tibetan word for path or way. The cult of Lamb. L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons worked on their Babylon working. Did they rip a portal open and not close it when they did their working? It's interesting. A lot of these magical workings, guys do it, and they talk about starting the working, and they don't finish it, and that makes trouble. That was done in the Baleskin house by Crowley. The mind has the ability to construct entire realities. So I recently found out that Michael Bendix, the voodoo guy, actually made contact with Dante, Count Dante, the world's deadliest man, the karate guy. Gonna talk about that another time. Oh, this is the Coley Garden Angel. Wow, I'm really drifting. In Beyond the Bobway Zone, Crowley mentions that there is a formidable array of techniques designed to facilitate and investigate other dimensions and levels of consciousness. There are certain conceptual devices that help you do this. Yeah, maybe smoke tons of hashish. The absence of being and non-being equals true being. Will to power. The Lima. Jack Parsons, who I have done a film in. I'll leave it in the liner notes. Did a magical revival, but I'm going to do a separate video one shortly. Babylon work. So there we go. There's my thesis for today. East meets West, Western occult tradition, an aimless babble. But let me know what anybody thinks come across this. I have a simple point. I have that Crowley was looking to make contact with these type of entities, and he allegedly ushered in the UFO era. Is there any Eastern esoteric counterpart that did the same thing? Or do people from China, India, Japan, whatever, think that's stupid? I don't know. Anyways, part one. Let me know what you guys think. Have a good day.